Randall Mitchell, Member of Parliament for San Fernando East and Minister of Tourism. Ms. Simon Thornmora, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Chairman of the AGC, Mr. Newman George, Managing Director of the AGC, Mr. Brent Lyons, Mr. Robert Green, Managing Director of TTMF, and other members of the TTMF team here present this morning. And the very most important people here this morning, the recipients of the packages or keys from the AGC this morning, members of the media, a pleasant good morning to you all. Indeed, it is a pleasant good morning when one looks around. As I drove in the compound this morning, this is my second visit to Cypress Gardens. When I drove in, I saw a difference from the first time I entered. It struck me that this is such a wonderful development. The landscaping is such, when you're driving here, you get a sense of homeliness. And I do believe that the Housing Development Corporation has done an excellent job in developing this property together with the contractor. So let us give them, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful applause. And I know it's not only Cypress Gardens this morning, because we do have Brenintendo. I too have visited Brenintendo. And I look at the workmanship at Brenintendo. The structures, they are very sound. And I also want to give that contractor a wonderful applause. Cashew Gardens, another development that we're sharing in distribution today. I also visited Cashew Gardens. Huge development in a nice area, a lovely enclave area. Again, let us give that developer and AGC a wonderful applause. Current Riverside North. I also visited Current Riverside North. You may wonder why I'm visiting all these old houses, but I have to, because I have to see for myself the kind of work, the kind of product that we're getting from the contractors. And also, I was impressed with what I saw at Current Riverside North. Let's give the contractor and the AGC another wonderful applause. Eden Gardens, another one in Central, around the Freeport area. I also had a chance of visiting Eden Gardens. And the type of work I saw there, the workmanship I saw there, suggests to me, ladies and gentlemen, that we are in fact improving in the product by the Housing Development Corporation together in partnership with the contractors. We're delivering a higher quality product at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. Please let us give the contractor also a wonderful applause. I looked at the skit a while ago and I saw some very serious messages from that skit. I don't know if you saw the messages that came out of that skit a while ago. It touches at the core of the development. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is about providing housing solutions, not just buildings, not just concrete structures, but housing solutions for personals, for citizens of Trinidad in particular, and Tobago to a lesser extent. And so when I looked at that skit this morning, it says to me that there are serious messages that we have to take on board, even as new homeowners. The skit suggested to us that once we get our packages and we enter into our physical structures, we have some work to do. We are at best our neighbor's keeper. In other words, the development that we enter into now, we see that in pristine condition. We can either degrade it, we can depreciate it, or we can lift it up to a certain standard. And it's only you, the inhabitants, you, the occupants, can do so. And the message from that skit says to you that you cannot sit by and let your neighbor or your children or your friends bring down the property that you're about to enter in. You all have a voice to speak to. In other words, you can define your housing development. I'm seeing from Cypress, for instance, they have already set the standard for those who are coming on board. When you're driving, you see pristine, you see people. You haven't seen a piece of clothing hanging up on any banister. I haven't seen sneakers hanging up on any line since I drove into this compound. If the new homeowners come into the compound and decide to let their children throw the sneakers over the electricity line, or hang their clothes and all kind of things on the banisters and so on, what you are doing is bringing down your property, bringing down the value of your property. If the new homeowners suggest that they will allow their children to go in the stairwells and so on, and smoke this and smoke that, or gamble on the stairwells, or make noise on the stairwells, if you allow your neighbors to play the music too loud and so on without complaining, it also brings down your property. So what you are getting into, the pristine property that you're getting into this morning, Let us maintain that, ladies and gentlemen. For all the developments, whether in Cypress, whether in Nintendo, whether in Current North, whether in Eden Gardens, I suggest to you that you lift up and improve the standards of where you are as you enter into your domain. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas, and therefore I think there's no better gift that we can provide to our citizens than provide what Maslow determined as our basic physiological need, providing shelter. It's one of the basic needs of man and woman. And I think today we are providing that basic need of shelter. And as you get in that shelter, it gives you a sense of belonging, a sense of ownership. Once you can own your own home, which is, I believe, is almost the ambitions of every single individual on the planet Earth, to own your own homes. And we are providing that through the government of Trinidad and Tobago for you this morning, a sense to own your own homes. But you must see it as an investment not only in yourselves, but in your children and your grandchildren and generations to come. In other words, you must treat it as though you're leaving a legacy. And if you do so, I can surely guarantee you that it will certainly redound to the benefit of your entire family. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and in particular the Housing Development Corporation, has been very active between 2015 to now. They have in fact produced and distributed over 3,600 units between 2015 to now, ladies and gentlemen. Notwithstanding the fact that when we entered some years ago, we saw a number of stalled units. This development was in fact one of the stalled units that we determined that we must complete every stalled unit within Trinidad and Tobago. Whether it is Carina Gardens, whether it is Cypress, whether it is Lakeview in Point Fortin, we have pursued them vigorously. And to date, we have distributed, or in fact, we have done work in almost 3,600 units. We hope by the end of 2020 we'll complete another 1,600 units, carrying us to almost a total of 6,000 by the end of 2020. This is our plan, this is our aim. But it's not without challenges. We have experienced challenges in terms of mortgages, in terms of payments. We have in fact experienced challenges with respect to rentals and so on. A message that Minister Randall Mitchell said a while ago, I want to repeat it. And that is, you have a responsibility to pay your mortgage when you enter the mortgage agreement with the TTMF and other institutions. And on that note, I also want to thank the TTMF for what they have been doing in cooperation with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, in particular the Housing Development Corporation. The access to the 2% mortgage and the 5% mortgage is based on agreement and based on the hard work and diligent work by TTMF. So let's give TTMF a wonderful applause for the partnership that they have been doing. There is in fact over 1 billion committed in public-private partnership, another avenue that we are approaching. Because let's realize that there are almost 180,000 people on the database. And ladies and gentlemen, if there are 180,000 people on the database, today we are distributing simply 244 units. That's just a small drop in the ocean compared to 180,000 persons who are waiting for a unit. So you not consider yourself lucky, but consider yourself in a good position this morning. We hope that by encouraging public-private partnership, the private sector will come on board. And to date, we have 5 such companies coming on board with us to develop places like Mahogany Court in Mount in Kunupia, in Chinchin Gardens. We have a number of developments that private contractors will come on board with us because we believe that we have enough people on our database to share with the private contractors. And so, based on them working with us, we can also deliver houses to more people in Trinidad and Tobago. We'll continue to persevere, we'll continue to pursue it, all in the interest of providing housing solutions to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I have been told that in 2018, over 1,200 families were able to access mortgages under the revised mortgage facility offered by TTMF, the majority of whom, in fact, benefited from the 2% mortgage facility. Again, I don't think there are any other competitive areas that can give you a 2% mortgage facility right now. It's based, again, from partnership between Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and TTMF. So we will continue to work in tandem with all agencies, with all institutions, to provide what we consider low and middle income housing to our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, as you receive your packages or your keys today, I want you again to take the opportunity to define or redefine the housing development that we're about to enter. Add value to the development. Do not denigrate, do not pull down the development. Add value and lift it. As I tell people in some of these distributions, you have an opportunity to really define your housing development. You know, sometimes we put a label on certain areas. We say that's Valsane, that's Westmore, we say that's Beecham, and sometimes the name comes to us and shape our behavior. I'm saying to you that the physical structure can't shape our behavior. It ought not to shape our behavior. It's supposed to influence us. So that once the area is pristine and clean, it is now left up to the people, the individuals, the residents. They establish and shape their communities and make it second to none within Trinidad and Tobago. There's a lesson from my own constituency in Point Fortin, in Lakeview. When we distributed homes in Lakeview, we urged them to form a committee of members of residents. To date, they have been one of the most active committee formed within any residential area in Trinidad. I can boast about it because it's my constituency, so don't feel I'm biased. But I'm saying there are lessons from that. And I urge you, as you enter into your development, establish yourself in a nice committee group, a group that looks after your environment, looks after issues pertinent or germane to your own development. So if there are issues, whether it is a plumbing issue or something, or street light issue and so on, instead of individuals approaching the HCC, there must be a voice coming from the community to do so. There must be a voice in shaping the cultural aspect of the community. There must be a voice shaping the social aspect of the community. So I urge you, as you enter into development, if there is no such committee, you must now form that committee to look after the establishment and the further development and growth of the very development that you're about to enter. That again will define who you are, where you are, and what your community stands for in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Christmas time, and I don't think there's any better gift that you can receive mere days before Christmas than a house, or a house, because it's just a house, you have to turn it into a home at the end of the day, that you can receive from the government of Trinidad and Tobago through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and in particular the Housing Development Corporation. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you today. I want to congratulate and thanks and give and express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Chairman, Managing Director, and members of the agency. To, of course, the Managing Director of the TTMF, the Permanent Secretary and her staff at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, and of course all the contractors who continue to work with us to delivering our mandate, providing low and middle income houses to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. May God continue to bless us all and bless our nation. Have a very merry and happy Christmas and a house full of goodies. May Santa continue to shower blessings and goods on you, and may Lord continue to shower blessings on you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.